Most construction or contractors' websites are nothing more than just digital business cards. No leads, no strategy, no conversion mechanism. They're pretty much just a logo, some photos, and a form buried right at the bottom of the site. And then people wonder why they're spending thousands on advertising and getting no leads. Just last year alone, I helped contractors generate over $24 million in new revenue. And you want to know how I did it? Having a website that actually converts and gets as many leads as humanly possible. I'm not just talking about websites that can get leads, I'm talking about websites that can get quality leads that can automatically be pre qualified before they even reach you on the phone. And some of these businesses are generating 20, 50, or even $100,000 jobs using these websites. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what steps I take to build a website that can generate 6 figures per month for your business. Let's dive in. The very first piece of advice I can give you is just go on Google, look up all your competitors, make sure you click on all their ads, go to the Facebook ad library, look at their ads there too, and find out where they're sending this traffic to. So have a look at your best competitors in the area who are doing well and get some inspiration from what they've done so that you can do something better. And another thing, if you have a lot of Google reviews, it's going to help you out majorly because the more trust signals you can put on this website, the more leads you're going to get on autopilot. So you want to be collecting as many reviews as possible to showcase it on your website. The next prerequisite you want to have for your website is just make sure you've got some really good before and after photos of what you guys do. You want to have really good photography of your team, your vans, just everything to make your company look as trustworthy as possible. The next thing is you want to make sure you install Microsoft Clarity on your website. And what this is going to do is it's going to show a heat map of your website and see exactly how far people are scrolling so that you can make educated decisions later on once you have traffic going to this website and seeing how many leads you get out of it. With Microsoft Clarity, you can also watch live video recordings of what people have done on your website, and you can see where people started to lose interest, and you can add specific sections in there to help them keep scrolling and consume more of your website. Now, the two biggest drivers of getting leads for your business is understanding where people look first. When people land on your website, they land on the very first hero section, and you want to put as much effort as possible into the hero section compared to everything else, because that's what's actually going to make people decide whether they stay or they go and whether or not they even fill in the form at all. So most consumers, they will decide whether or not they want to keep reading or they want to leave within that first 1 to 3 seconds. You want to make sure that your headline explaining exactly what you do, it needs to be super crystal clear. So you want to say plumbing services in Minnesota. You want to say hot water services in Seattle. You want to make it very specific what you do and what city you service so that someone who's in that city and needs that service can tell straight away that you can actually help them. Because if there's any doubts in their mind that you can't even help them, they're going to leave straight away and you wouldn't have even had the chance to convince them to use you over the competition. The next thing is you want to make sure the background of this hero section is really nice and stand out. So you want to have a nice picture of your team there, and you want to make sure that people can see it so that it's an actual legitimate business and they believe that you exist. Now you need to decide what conversion mechanism works better for your business. So if you sell lower ticket services like plumbing or electrical, chances are more likely than not, you're going to be getting more phone calls in comparison to actual email submissions. So you really want to make it clear where people can call you. So you want to make sure your buttons for your call are nice and bright so people can see it. On the other hand, if you sell high ticket services such as landscaping, building, bathrooms, kitchens, chances are more people are going to want to fill out the form than actually call you on the phone. So you want to make sure people have a clear way of getting to your forms and filling them out so that you can capture their information the easiest. To wrap up the hero section, you want to have a nice bold headline. You want to have a nice supporting subheadline that explains what you do and why they should choose you. You want to have somewhere on this website that shows benefits section of using your service, such as 10-year warranty, in business for 30 years, money back guarantee if you're not satisfied, just any sort of benefit that will help consumers choose you from a cold aspect because they've only just met you, and it's going to help them convert better on your website. Now, a quick little tip, your messaging and your copywriting on the entire website is going to matter. So for example, if you don't give out free inspections and your industry is known for giving out free inspections. You should not use the word free anywhere on your website, because as soon as you do, people are going to call because they're expecting a free inspection. So as soon as you tell them there's no free inspections, you're going to lose them, and you wasted money getting that lead when they were never actually interested in your service. So you want to be very clear about who you're serving, because if you're serving a high-end market, you need to have high-end imagery and high-end text, and you need to make people aware you're a premium choice. You're not an affordable choice by any means. So you need to make your copywriting very specific, because if you're finding that you're getting leads, but they're not the right quality leads, chances are you've said something on your website that indicates you might be something that you're not. Now, once you've built this hero section for your website, you want to have a look at it to what you've produced, to what your competitors have produced. Look at it from an outsider's point of view. Do you like your one better, or do you like your competitor's one better? And you need to see from a cold person's audience which one is going to be more attractive, because you want to make your first impression as attractive as possible to get the most amount of leads as possible. Now, right below your hero section, now you want to start listing the services that you actually provide and make it super clear what services you do, because if you don't make it clear about what services you produce, people are going to think that you probably can't help them, and then as a result, they're going to leave. So right below your hero section, make it super clear what you do. If it's plumbing, you do tap repairs, you do hot water, you do drainage, you do drain and blocks, you do it all. You want to make sure you have it all, because if someone looks up a keyword, or if someone looks at an ad and they see you do something, but then on your landing page it doesn't match what they saw on the ad, they're going to leave and they're not going to inquire. Now, each section you build on this website needs to have a call to action, whether that's a phone number or a form submission, because you want to make it as easy as possible for people to get in contact with you. So every single section you have on this website needs to have those call to actions. Now, that goes the same way if you've got tons of reviews. You want to show these reviews as much as possible throughout the website, even have a floating widget on the website to show people that a lot of people trust you, and to show people that you've already got an established reputation. Now, if you have an offer of some kind, whether you offer $50 the first inspection, whether or not you're offering some sort of seasonal discount, you want to make it crystal clear that you are offering that, because if there's any sort of mismatch on the ad to the landing page or the website, people are going to get confused and they're going to leave. So you want to make it clear what you're actually offering if it's more than what you're just than your regular current service. You want to make sure that the layout from section to section actually matches, and it's a really nice flow from one section to the other, so that each section actually makes sense for your business. And a good example of this is just look at your competitors and see what they've put in this section, because it's going to differ from business to business. But you would just want to make sure that everything flows nicely and it makes sense, because as soon as something doesn't make sense, people get confused, they get disinterested, and then they leave. Another thing you want to do is make sure that your website actually loads quickly, because if it doesn't load quickly, people are going to leave, especially if they have slower internet. And on all of these pages, you want to make sure there isn't a single stock photo anywhere on your website. And these are photos you can just get for free online, because as soon as people see stock photos, they start to disbelieve that you even exist. So you should really put in a lot of effort into getting good quality photos for your business and having that on your website instead of a stock one. Another thing you can do to prove that you're in the local area is have a map of your actual service area, so people can see that they're within your map and you can actually help them, and then they'll inquire with you because they know that you're local and that you can help them. Some more opportunities you can take is actually educating people. So if you have a lot of common facts and questions about your service, you want to make sure you're answering those facts and questions throughout your website on the different services that you provide, because a lot of people are not actually tradies. They have no idea what service you provide, how you do it, how much it costs. So the more you educate people, the more they're going to trust you, and it's going to help you qualify them as well, because if they've already gone through all that information, they won't have those facts and questions when it comes to the quoting and actually saying yes to your quote. The next thing is you want to make sure you have a dedicated service page for each different service that you provide. So if you're a plumber, you want to make sure you have plumbing, gas fitting, drainage, drain unblocking, hot water. You want to make sure you have all of these things so that people can see and go to that relevant page, because if they want a hot water cylinder, they want to look at the hot water page to make sure that you can do it and why they should choose you to do it as well. So the more you can convince people and show them that you do all these services, instead of people looking for it on your one page, people are going to get confused. They might think you're not actually providing the service and they're going to leave. So if you have a nice navigation menu on your website that shows all the different services and they can easily click to it, they're going to eventually buy from you. So essentially, the easier you can make it for people to navigate your website, the more they're going to trust you, the easier their experience is going to be, and then they're going to buy. And if you have all these different pages, it's going to help you with your SEO so you can rank higher on Google and get more inquiries naturally without paying for them. Now, how do you get higher quality leads? That's actually quite simple. When you have your form on your website, you just ask more questions in the form and you force them to fill it out, because if they're not willing to fill it out, then they're just going to give up and leave. And if they're willing to give up and leave and not fill in the form, chances are they most likely weren't going to buy your service anyway. Another thing you can do is actually have a survey instead of a form that takes them question by question and makes it easier for them to fill it out. But actually, there's a lot more questions. But because it's displayed as one question at a time, they're more willing to fill it out. But in the survey, you can ask more questions like, what's your budget? What's your timeline? Why do you want a bathroom renovation? The more you do this, the better the leads you're going to get are going to be, but you're going to get less quantity. So you need to figure out, do you want more quantity at less quality, or do you want higher quality leads but less of them? So by the time you get the lead, you're going to know whether or not it's actually worth your time, depending on how many pre-qualification questions you already asked them. Now, it is 2025, so you don't need huge paragraphs of text on your website these days, because no one's going to read it anyway. So I would optimize the text to be really nice text that really impacts the reader, because remember, they're not going to read everything anyway. So as long as it looks really good and you've actually put stuff on there that actually makes sense for your business, then you're going to get a really nice qualified lead. So really do spend some time writing this text out properly to make sure it makes sense and it actually solves the user's problem. But you certainly don't need huge blocks of text, so just remove that. Now, the most important of all, looking through all my clients' accounts, they easily get at least 70 to 80% of people actually on mobile. So if your website is not mobile optimized and it doesn't look good on a phone, chances are it's not going to get very many leads. So you really want to make sure your website is not only built for desktop, but it's actually built for mobile as well, because that's where most of the people are looking at anyway. So you want to make sure it looks good, it loads fast, and it just looks nice and clean and easy to navigate for people to get in touch with you. Now, I use WordPress and Elementor for my websites because it's really easy to use and you get the most customization options out there compared to some of these other companies. So I would strongly recommend you use WordPress for the best results. And now what you can do with your website now that it's finished is you can actually set up automations from your website to your CRM so that these leads are getting nurtured automatically with texts and emails to help them convince them to use you. And one last thing, one thing that'll make a huge difference for your website is actually having video testimonials of happy customers after they've used you for their work. So what you can do is just ask your customers to hop on the phone real quick and just discuss what the experience was like with you, how happy they are with the results, just all those sort of video testimonials. And what you can do with these video testimonials is on your thank you page, after someone submits the form, you can have all of these video testimonials to help convince the customer more and actually look forward to answering the phone from you. You want to make sure that every lead is getting nurtured, because again, you are never going to close 100% of your jobs because it is cold traffic. What you want to do is you want to nurture them through these sequences to help you win more jobs. So that's how we build 6-figure per month websites for construction businesses. No fluff, no hype, just websites that get results. We've done this for companies like OA Plumbing, who ended up spending half as much on their advertising and getting more than double the leads that they were getting before. Safe Planet, who generated $132,000 in new revenue in just their first 30 days. Or North Lakes Plumbing, who got more results in a week of marketing with us than they did with 2 years with a previous agency. So if you're a contractor doing between 50 to 250K per month and you want help scaling between 5 to 12 million per year, you can look in the description below and book a call with me. I'll walk you through what's broken, what's missing, and what we'd do to fix it. If you got value out of this video, make sure you like and subscribe. See you in the next one.